Hello Hambini fans and welcome to another episode of Hambini Reams. In today's episode, one of those products that comes along which really is a game changer, and that's an often overused term, but these are it. These are the Farsports Trispoke and disc, and yeah, they're really good, really fast. Comfortably the fastest wheels that I've tested, and if you're time trialing, it's a no-brainer. I would get these. Don't watch the rest of this video. Absolutely incredible. Normally, I like to keep the wheels for a few thousand kilometers to get, plenty of mileage in to see how robust and stuff they are. In the case of these wheels, I haven't managed to do that because you can't really commute to work on these wheels. A truck will blow you over, and that's really the only downfall of them. You can't use them in windy conditions, and in certain time trials they won't permit you to use them either. But if you're allowed to use them and you want to go fast, this is it. It's a complete no-brainer. If we start off with the front wheel construction is unibody, so the hub is molded into the rest of the rim and the frame. You can't take them apart. Cross section through here is aerofoil. It's not a symmetrical section, so this side is blunter than that side, so that is your leading edge effectively. I mean, if you look at it, it almost looks like an Isle of Man flag. Look that up. This is a rim brake wheel. It does come in disc brake as well, but yeah, I mean, the rest of the design is what gives it the speed, but this particular rim brake has like a textured profile on the outside, so braking performance is really good, and when it's wet it's noticeably better than the ones that don't have it. 21mm ID and 28mm on the outer. On most wheels you tend to have the flanges at as wide a distance apart as you can. On this wheel they've gone for the full out aero and brought it in as narrow as possible, so the line between there and there is deflected as little as possible. Now the problem with that is it can make the wheel less stiff laterally, but obviously because it's carbon it don't flex at all. It's just like riding a very stiff wheel. So the bearings are as wide as possible as they could make them to fit in the hole. They're just a generic brand. I think it says S&S. I think Windspace also use the same. So Farsports have been in this game for a long time. This is the back wheel. This is again unibody construction, so it's not like a spoked wheel with fairing on it. It's very subtly double dished. May not be obvious on the camera, but whoever has designed that really knew about it before they did it. So where the P and the O are in the logo, you can probably just make out that it sort of dips in and then dips out. That isn't a manufacturing fault. Someone's done that on purpose. The hub, I mean, this hasn't really had much use. You can see a bit of the grubbiness around it, and there's not really been enough load for me to suggest whether it can take the bite marks or not. But again, not really many issues with that. If we flip this over, the wheel does come with a cover, but I left it somewhere and I've forgotten where I left it. I think I might have left it at work. But anyway, this is the non-drive side of the wheel. Again, you can see where the position of the attachment between the disc and the hub is, so it's as narrow as they can make it. So they've reduced that cross-sectional area that's exposed to the wind, in effect. It is, as a piece of engineering, this is really quite impressive. Same thing on this side, so you've got bearings that are through there. See a bit more gunge in there from me riding it. Small side, so 6803 and then 6903 on the other side. You can put a standard valve hole through here. It doesn't need to be an extended type. About 28mm on the back, outer, 21mm inner. And it is that time of the show again. It is time for PowerPoint. In today's episode of PowerPoint for the masses, we better just check that pen is working. The pen is working. In fact, while I was going around various places at Eurobike, people were accosting me in the toilets, but we'll save that for another day. The fastest ickle wheels you can get. Tittle likes approved. Those of you who are watching from an engineering background will know what all that is about. Others can speculate. By Hambini, aged 5. Remember, check out the merch, Patreon and Crapstagram, and also the website. This is the Farsports website. These wheels are available in a few different combinations. So you can get 28mm disc, 26mm disc, and then 26mm rim. And then you've also got the Trispoke front. So if I just hit, I don't know, whichever one you want really, but let's pick the disc brake wheel. So that they're all basically the same price. The disc wheel is slightly wider. Is that going to make a difference? Not really in this case, because it's on the back, and then you've got the Trispoke front. Now the Trispoke front is fast because it is narrow, and really if you want to go fast, and even if you watch the people in Tour de France races and stuff like that, they tend to have a narrow front wheel because it will make you fast. Wheel build quality, well, we'll rattle through this. I had limited mileage on these wheels, so it's not really totally representative, but in some regards you're not going to use these kind of wheels all the time. Although in my case I did ride them to work, which was potentially slightly stupid, verging on maybe fatal, because some large trucks went past me and it wasn't a very happy day. The radial run out, and bear in mind you can't adjust this because the wheels are like monocoque construction, so you've got no spokes to adjust. There's nothing really wrong with them at all. Now, as I said earlier, you can't adjust them. If you get a knock, you're basically going to break the wheel or trash a bearing. The lesser of those two evils is to trash a bearing. This is the outbalance of those wheels, especially, and it's the back one, this one, because you can't obviously adjust the back one too much. The back wheel itself is extremely low. It's only 200 millimeters. Now that is, I guess, advantageous because you've got a disc. So the out of balance limit value is actually higher because the wheel weighs more. If you want to know where that comes from, AGMA, I think it's AGMA G2.5 is a fairly common standard that things are balanced to. I think wheels are balanced, car wheels are 10.9. Don't know. Most stuff 6.3, but anyway, we digress. These are the fits that I found. Obviously I didn't go and do a vaginal twat and use one of those little extract things on, because they will break, and don't take my word for it, take SKF's word for it. But we digress. They're all M7, so nothing really wrong with that. To be honest, I wasn't expecting anything different because it's a Farsports wheel. They've been doing it for so long. Even the blindly bought ones are pretty good. Their rim quality, I'd say, is one of the best. This is the vibration plot. Again, there's not really much wrong with it. This is, it hasn't had that much running on it, so I can't really categorically say the bearings are the dog's knob or not, but based on what I've seen so far, I wouldn't really worry too much. The wheel speed is always going to be high because that's your excitation frequency. The cage speed is a little bit high, but to be honest, that will probably bed in. So overall, I'd say that was a pass. This is where, yeah, you can really quite see the difference. So the Farsports wheel is this blue line here. So it becomes extremely unstable when your DMV gets pretty much over, what's that, it's a log scale, so maybe 200. Limit value most people tend to say is 1. So it's like way past that, way past that. Yeah, not much to say about that. Now down here where the flow is not so screwed up, you can see the benefit of the disc because it's just miles better. But up here you've got such a large surface area, and it doesn't take much of a pressure fluctuation because of the volume of air that's on one side of it. As soon as that lets go, you've got massive instability, and that is really the limit of the type of wheel. Yeah, the Trispoke front doesn't really do much because it doesn't affect the instability value that much. Another thing that you can have is what's known as free stream recovery. So if I draw a bike like this, I'll draw the bike over here. Let's say the guy is got his fork like that, and then he sat on the top of it like that. That is a crap drawing, but never mind. Let's say he's going that way, so air is coming that way. I've noticed the term he because I'm not using it, she, whatever, because I can't be bothered to do that. They will generate turbulence off the back, so the free stream velocity is not there. Free stream is the velocity quite far away from the object that's been undisturbed. Now, in the case of a Mavic CXP, I think it was a 23, maybe 22, the free stream recovery was 3.5 meters. In the case of the Farsports disc, it was about 2.2, so it's 33% better. These wheels all the way around here are sort of conventional rimmed, spoked wheels. They're all about the same, but the disc is a huge step difference. I mean, they are fast. If anyone says they're not, they're lying. They're really, really fast. So yeah, the free stream re-ovary, if anyone spotted that, there's an innuendo in there, but I've got to stop. Right. The Titbits, they're good. They are extremely fast. They're seriously fast. When you're just going along with them, I can't really describe how fast the wheels are. They are fast. Fast, 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 fast. You could get like Zip 808s and then go from that to these. No contest. Get these. Absolutely get these if you are time trialing, because they're just so fast. They're really fast. You can get them in disc rim. The wheels will be fast, whichever you get, because on the back, the disc is encompassed by the bigger disc. On the front, you've got 3, 4, 5, 20 spokes on a normal wheel. On this one, you've got like just a handful. So no real issues with that. I think they are decently priced. So you could get the set for about $1,500, $1,600, including the postage, which will be $1,700-ish. And if you're in the States, you probably won't have to pay any import tax. If you're in Europe, now this is where it gets a bit dicey. Sometimes you have to pay import tax, sometimes you don't. Of late, I haven't been paying any. I don't know why, but there you go. So the government hasn't really imposed it. Standard JIS bearing, so that's a good thing. And Farsports, I mean, I was talking to PT about this at Eurobike, and we generally think that Farsports carbon rims are one of the best made. They probably make rims for other people as well, but the ones that are branded Farsports and used for themselves are of a very high quality. And you can see that in, just general, have a look on the internet. The bad. The disc has quite high inertia, and that's kind of unavoidable because there's weight there towards the middle of the disc. But you don't have that. I mean, the reason the disc is fast is because there's no discontinuity. So if you were to take a normal bike rim, you would have a normal wheel. You'd have the tyre, let's say, there, the rim, then the spokes, the hub, then the spokes, other end of the rim, and then the other tyre. This bit here is a discontinuity, and what happens is air comes over and then goes through there, goes all turbulent, messed up, separates and does that. If you've got the disc, it's just one solid boundary. And they tend to be very aerodynamic shapes. Obviously, you've got the negative effect of crosswinds associated with that, but yeah, I mean, if you can run these wheels, it's an absolute no-brainer, complete no-brainer. Questions and comments, obviously the webpage with more data and stuff is in the description. Discount code is also in the description. And remember to look on my Crapstagram and on Hambini.com. And obviously there is the Patreon page for Hambini where you can usually get a monthly discount. That might not be every month, but it is most months. And that brings us to the end of this show. If you did enjoy it, remember to smash that like button. If you didn't, go screw yourself. And as always, keep banging your hairdresser.